Okay, we are basically up and ready to go. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right over into it. This is Dennis Wilborn. I am the Active Trend Trader. Welcome to On the Radar, our stock and market review for what day is it? Today is 2 days before Christmas, so it is the 23rd of December. Remember, guys, your shopping day is tomorrow, the 24th, so please do not miss it. Your better halves might be really upset with you. Before we jump into today's session, just a quick reminder what we're going to be doing with these on the radar market stock and market review is one, we're going to basically be doing a index update. You know, I'm an old naval aviator, and so I look at the index update. It's kind of like the weather report. What's going on? What might affect the trades that I'm in? And then from there, we're going to jump over and do a, let me get my piece of paper here, a course correction if we need to on the existing trades that we have going on. We've got a couple going on for both our premium members and our top 5 members. I also want to show you where we actually jumped into some of these trades. And then lastly, and this is the one thing, if you're not a premium member or a active trend trading member yet, you want to stay tuned for this. I've got actually, I'm going to be doing usually one stock that is, you know, a target of opportunity like we did yesterday that I explained, hey, here's what's going on with the stock, maybe something you want to keep on in the back burner and ready to jump on. Well, we have such a target-rich environment right now with potential stocks that are setting up for a potential run into the end of the year and further. I'm going to give you 2 today, 2 stocks. So let's hang on, but let's first jump into our market analysis. The first entity that we'll take a look at is the SPY, the Spider Index ETF for the S&P. As you can see, what's going on here is we had the big day on Monday, so that's a huge range. And the price action over the last couple of days has just kind of meandered in that area, that range, not popping real high, not popping real low. It's just hanging out. This may be a case where it just does that over the next couple of days. Remember, Christmas Eve, the market does close early. It closed at 1 o'clock on the East Coast. And so I was thinking normally we would be doing a live on the radar at 12 Pacific, but what we'll have to do is, since the market's going to be closing actually 3 hours early, I'm going to roll that to tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific, so mark that in your calendar. I will send out some reminders. Okay, let's jump on over to the Qs, which represents the NASDAQ. We're looking at the daily chart of the Qs right there. And as you can see, we basically are getting a little bit of a drop down from yesterday's spinning top, kind of hanging spinning top doji that happened yesterday. Remember, we were still working on off of a bearish engulfing, not quite a hanging man from last Friday, but clearly it was a bearish reversal signal. And as long as, just keep this in mind, as long as, let me get my pin out here. There we go. As long as that top right there remains intact, we will, there we go. Yeah, as long as that top right there remains intact, we basically have a bearish engulfing signal, which is a reversal signal to the downside. And right now we had a little bit of a push up. This could be a rally attempt back up to the past highs. And it right now is not pushing on through. So what's going to happen tomorrow? Don't know. If we take a look at the weekly chart, get rid of the candlestick. As you see, kind of a little spinning top going on for the weekly chart so far today, or so far this week. Doesn't mean that we're going to do that's going to be maintained through the week, but again, yes, last week's high is the target to, that we have to be watching moving forward. Are we getting anything that's saying, hey, we're going to sell off? Not really. We do have some, just pay attention to this, we do have some negative divergence going on the intraday chart. It has crossed over to the downside. That could be signaling that price action on the Qs is going to drop on down here to about the 20-day moving average. Recognize, anytime you have a price action moving up, you want to take a look. Which moving average has it been respected? And you can see here so far, the moves back to a moving average on the Qs, the NASDAQ, have been coming back to the 20 and respecting that and then bouncing higher. So far, we're starting to do that. When they start to fail on breaking a new high, in other words, that next rally attempt fails, that could be a precursor for something to be, dropping further down. We do have there's a lot of ways you can look at this. This could be the start of a head and shoulders. With your shoulder on the left shoulder in place, the part of the head in place. We come down here, roll back up, rally fails, and then rolls over. That could be something to be looking forward to going into 2021. What about IWM? IWM has so far been the beast, if you will. We drive on up today, again pressing up higher. What's else has been going on since the breakout back in November? Price action on the IWM and the Russell has really respected the 8-day moving average, indicating that it is a very strong uptrend moving to the upside. Look at what's happened down here with the TSI, the momentum indicator TSI. It has held up above the plus 42 level, which is basically an oversold condition, but also when it sticks up there is indicative that is very strong move. Same thing on the market forecast. Hung up there in the high above the 80 level and is just driven sideways without very much of a dimple going to the downside. As you can see, just straight up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks so far in a row. Can that be, can that continue on forever? Of course not. But as we look at the Russell is doing what we expected to do. The Russell tends to perform best in the last quarter of the year, better than the other indexes during the last quarter of the year. And so far this quarter, the fourth quarter of 2020, it has not disappointed. So, hey, let's get over and look at the stocks that we are getting to be on the radar. Got some good ones to show us. Back on screen. There we go. What we want to do now is also take a look at stocks that are potentially, we want to favor stocks that are going to the upside. And that's exactly what we did yesterday, and we're not quite to that point yet. I want to cover a couple of stocks that we did, in fact, jump into. One was AMD. We jumped into that. When did we jump into that? A couple of days ago? AMD. We talked about that yesterday. And what I'll do, you may, again, one of the things I like about doing this at, doing the first 15 minutes of the final hour, we do the on the radar. If we're getting a setup, or you may look at it and say, hey, that looks like that's a great setup. I may want to take that trade, or I'm not making a recommendation. But if you do parallel trade with us, that's, again, make sure you position size properly. Know your risk profile so that you're not overextending yourself. But as I mentioned this yesterday, we came down, we made a new low yesterday off this last little dive. However, today we are putting in a candlestick that is called an inside day. Often an inside day reflects the potential for a reversal signal to head back up to the top side. A couple of things that have happened with this is, one, it stopped making a new low on a daily basis. That's great. Remember, I'm in this trade from about $91. As a matter of fact, it was $91 even. So I'm up, what, $1.25 right now. And as long as we pierce back through the 8-day, we'll be basically looking at taking off some profit when we get up there to the 97 level. That's one of the things I do with our active trend traders, with our top 5. I send out my top 5 pre-flight checklist every Saturday so that traders can be getting their orders in place. And I tell them exactly where I'm going to enter, where I'm going to exit for profit, where my stop loss is, and so they can lay in a conditional order. And those the top 5 autopilot trading system actually becomes a fire and forget type of trading system, because my stop losses are never more than 5%. I try to keep them about 3%, just below swing lows, and I use conditional orders, so I pick up the stock at a technical advantageous buy point. So kind of good. If you're interested in that, you can always just either DM me, or you can look at, follow us, subscribe on YouTube, and check in LinkedIn. On the bio, you can find the top 5 list there and become a member. And as I was saying, hey, follow us on Instagram. Also, if you're watching the recording of this on YouTube, because I'm putting it out in 2 different areas, one on Instagram TV, the other one on YouTube, the recording, then subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, and one other thing on Instagram, please save the recording. That's just some YouTube, Instagram is doing this different. They're not going to be counting likes anymore. You got to save it. So save and forward if you know anybody who's interested in doing stocks. So AMD looking pretty good. The other one we got into today was MA, which is MasterCard. MasterCard basically, come on MasterCard, there we go. It's got some nice support down here at the 327 level. We did this we did not buy the stock. We did an option trade on this. And so we bought some at right about where it's at right now, about 331. We anticipate a break and a move back up towards the 340 level. And so we did a nice little spread type trade that expires next week. So that's what we've got going with that. Let me show you a couple of other trades that we've just done recently. One of them is TSCO. If you like to basically get information, this is Tractor Supply Company, of course, been a really big performer for us, all year long. We've traded it multiple times. And so here's what we did: is I put out an order, or basically I put out a directive that on the weekend of 12/2. So 12/2, let's find 12/2. Basically there is 12/2 right there. And then on 12/1, on the, but in between 11:30 and 12/1, I put out an order that said, I like Tractor Company if it pulls back into this level here. And so it did. It pulled back to the 137 level. We jumped on. We were not taken out when it dropped below these lows. That became our new stop loss. And then over the next couple of days, what took place was something very, very nice. We actually took out 2. Let me give you an idea. I got into the trade at 37, which is right in here, on the 2nd, which is right there. And then price action came down, put in a nice little hammer, then took off. We took off part of the trade at 44, right there. And then we held the rest of it. Our upside target on this was $150 even. The high yesterday was 150, 150.09, or let's see, 150.69. So we were taken out of the last part of that trade right there. On the second order, we were up 9.5%. So again, our top 5 members, they were ready. They had a pre-flight checklist all set. They had conditional orders in place that was automatically filled the next week, and then the price action took off. And the stop loss was just immediately below these areas, so really nice stop loss. Another one we did that I really, one that we basically are just working on right now, CPRT, and we've taken out some of the profit on this one. And where's it at right now? CPRT, let me get rid of that other stuff. CPRT, something very similar. We had an alert on CPRT back here on 11:30. Where is that 11:30? Right there's 11:30. We basically had the alert, and we wanted to buy some at, we got into that on 12:14, which is, no, we actually got into it at 11:30. So we had basically put out the order to buy on 127, on a pullback down to about 114, and then price action took off, pulled back, and then took off again, and we wound up exiting this one for a couple of different, added a couple of different spots, 118, which is there, and then I'm still waiting for the second one. Today's price action, today's price action got all the way up to 124.11. My profit target number 2 is at 124.15. Now, what I will do, and we'll basically send out a notice to our members saying, hey, if we drop today's high to today's low, go ahead and pull out the rest of your profits. There's no reason to let it, there's no reason to take a nice 9 or 10% profit and let it turn into only a 3 or 4% profit. My philosophy. That's I like to see people make money. And so, okay, hey, I promise you, here are the 2 stocks that are basically targets of opportunity. One of them is, you may or may not be familiar with this, is ZTO. This is another stock that we have been trading multiple times. I want to show you what's going on with this. It had earnings, it sold off dramatically, and now we're getting a nice reversal signal up to the upside on a daily chart. It has run up to the 20-day moving average, and therefore, what am I looking for it to do? I would anticipate the potential for it to stop right there at the 20, pull back a little bit to kind of like retest this area back down in there, and then hopefully put in a higher low, and then pow, break out of that area and be on off to the races again. A straight up, upside target to the past high would take us up to about, I want to say it was 20%. Yeah, right about 20 plus percent, 18%. However, if you pop over to the weekly chart, the weekly chart is what's really got me going. This is looking pretty good. Last week, hammer. That's almost a dragonfly doji kind of hammer. That is an excellent hammer. I have, the positive divergence on the TSI on a weekly chart. Those are the kind of trade setups you just salivate over. My market forecast long-term has not turned up yet, but it's in the lower reversal zone. I am getting, as of right now, I'm getting a bullish engulfing of last week's hammer. And so that could spell that we're ready to basically launch up to the upside. And if we go from where we're at right now up to the past highs over here, we're talking about about a 37% run, 37% run. And we'd have to stretch it out. So it wouldn't be immediately, it would be over several weeks. Or into probably the first quarter of 2021, but that is an excellent looking potential setup. Like I said, I would wait until we get some kind of a little bit of a test back in here. As you can see, I marked the 2740 level as a trigger to say, hey, Dennis, pay attention if that alert triggers. So, guys, that's all we've got today. let me know. Leave a comment and let me know what stock you would like me to review. I will do both a technical review and I will do a real quick fundamental review using the Investor Business Daily tools. And to tell you, basically, and I'll be straight up with you, if your stock that you give me is a piece of junk, I will say you do not want to waste your time on that. Then you can make your decision up on your own. But if it is a rock solid growth stock that makes it past my on the radar checklist to become a target of opportunity, I'll also let you know that. So until we meet again, I will basically say aloha, and as we like to say, God bless.